Hey, I'm Ethan.
Hey, I'm Mike.
I watched the first half of Emilia Pérez.
I watched the second half of Emilia Pérez.
And this
Is the other half. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
That's right, everyone. We think
Oscar month,
it's
baby.
award season, baby. Although we're recording this before the nominations have come out. So
Yup.
if this is wrong, oops.
We wasted our time.
But also, this won a Golden Globe, so
It's sweet, the Golden Globes.
It could count for that, sure. Yeah.
Sure. We had a bet. We had the nominations were being pushed back and we were running out of time. So we're like, we have to just bet on what we think is going to get nominated for Best Picture, a movie we haven't seen yet. And so this was one of the ones we suspect is going to get nominated. I really hope it does because I would be very upset if I saw this movie for no other reason but for this.
Oh, so you didn't like it?
I hated it. I thought it was terrible.
This movie was fucking crazy. So first off, I had no idea what this movie was really about.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So then I see the premise, right? Okay.
Yeah.
The premise is a drug
Cartel
kingpin. It's like, I want to be a woman, so I'm going to get
Transitions.
I want to get this lady over, and we're going to figure this out.
Rita.
And do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's kind of a crazy premise. And then I watched it. I'm like, this is a fucking musical?
It's a musical as well.
What the shit?
Yeah.
Who fucking thought of this?
The French.
This is crazy. You know what? You put it all in perspective.
This is written and directed by a French guy who is a cis het man, and also not Mexican.
Yeah. That was also the trouble. Is I was like, what language do I watch this in?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's a French movie,
It's a French film, yeah.
but it's set in Mexico. Very heavily Mexico.
Yeah. But it also feels like it's not taking place in Mexico because it doesn't feel like they've got the understanding of like the culture or the region.
No.
Yeah.
I ended up, because I watched it and I was like, I was trying to think about like, I knew people did not like this movie.
Yes.
Like there was a lot of criticisms. I'm like, okay, what are the criticisms? Because I felt like its heart felt like it was sort of in the right place, I guess, kind of, but also it just fumbled it so poorly. It just felt like
It's this generation's Crash and this generation's Green Book.
Oh, you're right.
Like it's trying to do the right thing, but by doing so, it's
comes
failing.
across as like kind of bad. And I was trying to think like what things felt uncomfortable. Okay. First off, kind of the way they present a transgender person
100%.
just feels very...
She's literally lying to everyone and hiding her identity and manipulating people, which is like all what people are afraid trans people are doing.
Exactly.
Which is like, no, trans people, like, there's a whole scene in my half the movie where she's just like, am I a man? Am I a woman? Am I a kingpin? Am I a savior? And I'm like, people, when, like, obviously I'm not going to speak for a trans person, I'm not, but like most trans media is like, I am transitioning because I know what I am on the inside.
And they go through that too, but it's just like the underpinnings are so like, did anyone think this through? Like what the implications are at all?
No.
And then with the Mexico thing, I was like, why does this Mexico City seem like it makes Breaking Bad's Mexico seem like Pee-wee's Playhouse? Like, it is insane. It's just like, everything is murder.
Yeah.
Everyone will kill you. Millions of people are dying everywhere. You're just fucking gonna get killed anywhere. And I'm just like, pretty sure Mexico City's not like that, but like, okay, whatever, I guess. It's just like, it feels very much like we have a means. Is this a crazy concept?
We're
We're going to try to put it together and we're going to do a little research, not a lot. I'm never going to step foot in Mexico, really. It doesn't feel like it.
Apparently, it sounds like the writer-director was like very proud of the fact he didn't do any research for this movie.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I would not be proud of that at all.
No.
Listen, as a white guy, a straight white guy, if I come in and I'm like, I got this crazy idea, I'm going to hire anyone to look over the script. I'm going to research so much because I do not want to offend anyone. I don't want to piss anyone off. You know, I don't want to like misrepresent an entire culture that I'm not a part of.
But if you do that, then you don't get fucking awards buzz, apparently, because this fucking sweeps the Golden Globes.
It's just like so
all these white
level.
neoliberal.
I think
like,
they just read the synopsis like I did and was like,
maybe.
that's crazy. Good on them for going for this. And you know what? good on them for going on this. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But also, you should have done some homework, all right?
What I hate about it is, like, clearly the reason he's using, like, a transgender person as the main character is what he wants to... It sounds like what the director is trying to, like, work through is the idea between, like, masculinity and femininity. And the thing of, like, masculinity is all about, like, violence and anger and, you know, and all this, you know, and, like, destruction. And, you know, femininity is all about, like, saving people and helping people. And it's, like, because later on in the movie, Emilia starts to, like... backslide a little bit and starts to present more like masculine like characteristics and stuff. And it's like, this is not how this fucking shit works. Like, this is fucking stupid. Like, the only reason that this person chose a trans person was probably because it was just like, oh, here's a great a great character for me to like put through my idea of what a man and a woman is, you know, like all
Someone
women
who's
are
in between the two or whatever, blah blah blah. You know, some weird kind of backwards thinking.
Because it's like Amelia's not even a person. Like, Emilia does not feel like a person in this movie ever. She feels like a character that is there so that a white straight man can just go like, here's how I think women are. And
the motivations also kind of shift halfway through in like a weird way because. I mean, I'll get into the plot details a little bit, but hey, at the very least, they cast an actual trans person, so that's good.
That is truly incredible.
Considering everything else,
yes,
that's why I think a lot of people probably, or like critics or whatever, probably saw it. And they're like, oh, that's really nice that a lead trans person is headlining this movie. It's probably fine.
It's not like there was any other movies this year that was written and directed by a trans person, all about the trans.
Yeah, but they're not. You know, they're not on the cover, you know, or anything like that.
I suppose not.
There's definitely not another movie like a Joker thing or anything like that.
See, I saw the TV Glow, guys, and see the People's Joker. Those movies are fucking incredible. Made by trans artists, actually about their experiences. Check them out. They're fucking amazing. Very humanizing. I think that's the other problem. I don't know. I feel like Emilia was never like humanized in my half of the movie. She was either a complete like innocent or like the worst person in the world, you know?
Yeah, it's honestly, it really is just two sides of a coin, right? And they're trying to play with that. It doesn't really work. And also doesn't help that like musical numbers are so weird and goofy.
Yeah.
That it's like you're really putting a musical in this.
Yeah.
And it's gonna act like this.
And the music wasn't even that good.
There was like one song that was kind of cool. And it only lasts for like a minute and a half. And I'm like, that's so short. Everything
else.
The
sequences are not very long. Like
they're not very long.
I want to say the songs are like maybe 2 minutes at most.
They're pretty short.
Yeah.
And some of them they're coolly directed. I think some of them look really cool.
Yeah.
There's some cool art, like cool scenes in terms of like how they frame things and like hit the characters' moods and stuff. And it feels like,
oh god, it's like Bohemian Rhapsody all over again.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's like that's why people are watching like in this movie, because it's just like it's not best direction, it's a most direction, you know.
Ooh, you're right. Yeah. It's the most direction.
It's not like it's not best editing, it's most editing, you know?
Yeah.
Like with Bohemian Rhapsody, yeah.
It's most songs. There's a lot of songs.
There's a lot of songs.
Like 1 or 2 seconds long. Songs of the TikTok generation, I guess. I don't know.
They're like jingles. I mean, you can definitely take some of the stuff and just pop it on TikTok and they'll well, not anymore, I guess. It's gone now.
Well, I mean, whenever this releases, we'll find out. I don't know. We're recording this too early. We don't know the Oscar nominations. We don't know the fate of TikTok. But let's get into the plot
Let's talk a little bit about
the plot.
Emilia Pérez.
So, one thing I gotta ask you, Mike, is why do all these like quote unquote prestige movies have like a full, no joke, minute of like movie studios before them?
So, not all of them, but this one definitely does, because I mean, how are you gonna fucking finance it? You know, you truly have to like go through all of these different like production companies and go like, give us money to help us, give us money to help us. Like, that's why I think movies like this exist. I mean, I don't think Netflix put their money behind it. Netflix published it. Fucking gamer over here.
What, they published it?
No, they distributed it. That's what it is. They distributed it.
How do you distribute something? You got to publish it first.
Okay, sure. They distributed it, but they didn't put any money. I don't suspect they put that much money behind it. So I'm sure a lot of these names at the beginning is just like them going to like, you know, a store down the street or like, you know, some weird conglomerate and just go like, give us money for this crazy fucking movie, please.
Yeah.
And they did it because they're like, yeah, we want to get in the movie industry. That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll get returns
also,
on this.
there's like a lot of different languages and stuff that they used and cultures, so they probably got like a different funding from each of them, and they probably help produce.
Oh yeah, no, totally. That's another point. Yeah, a lot of times they'll get funded by the government, which is another.
It's true.
Yeah, another way. Yeah.
Anyway,
Question answered.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Appreciate that. So there's creepy music zooming in on like some mariachis playing stuff, and we got some crime scene photos. That Zoe Saldana.
She's great in this.
She is really good in this. I was surprised by her singing too. Is also very good.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah, she's really killing it. I mean, who knew Gamora could do that?
Yeah, she's not painted blue or painted green in this movie.
Yeah.
She's full on.
She really has got a lot of body paint that she's got.
I guess she didn't have body paint in Avatar.
For Avatar,
actually,
no, I guess that's true now. But she's playing Rita Mora Castro, and she's trying to research all this stuff to get this guy off out of this guy who clearly killed his wife, but she's trying to get a way to, he's defendant, so he's gonna try to get a way to get him off, and so they're gonna go with the suicide take, and they're gonna try to make it look like his wife killed herself. And she's walking outside, and there's suddenly a huge crowd of people. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? They start singing a song about love, death, and a suffering country, and I'm just like, what movie
they
is
really
this?
dropped
This
you
is
into
crazy.
this.
This
Yeah.
is insane. Okay. Well,
Yeah, because you didn't know about the musical
no, I
part
didn't know it
either.
was a musical.
Yeah. Oh,
they didn't
yeah.
tell you that part in the little synopsis that I read. And so it's just people just singing, and I'm just like, okay, I mean, this is kind of cool, I guess. That'd be cool to do like once.
Yeah. We opens with the musical sequence and there's no more.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Movies
sure.
could do that. Sure.
Yeah, we could do anything.
This movie had 1 minute full.
This
of
movie could do
logos
anything it
beforehand.
wants.
It can do anything
Yeah,
it wants. It has
yeah.
the funding it needs. But yeah, it's a whole song about, like, trying to get said like, I'm going to say my client had the right to love his wife as the defense I'll give. It's a whole thing. But she's so miserable. But she talks about how like the media's just slandering him and it's going back and forth. But then it cuts to the lawyer up there presenting. And he's presenting the case that she wrote up. She wrote up everything, and he's the one presenting it all. And he's even forgetting some of his lines. She has to like give him some papers to like remember his lines. And it's like, man, this guy looks like a criminal. And she looks over at the guys defending, and it looks like Viggo Mortensen to me. Like it just straight up does. And I'm like,
Okay.
That criminal Return of a King. Criminal. But he gets off. He gets off scot free. And this is a scene I like where she's out of the spotlight and he is in the spotlight interviewing and talking to everyone.
The news and
like
stuff,
legit spotlight. And
Yeah, of course.
And she's off in the corner just talking to her mom about like, yeah, you still want to like meet for Sunday or something, and clearly showing that she does all the hard work. He gets all the credit.
Of course.
And she goes to the bathroom after asking a random person for a tampon. And gets like a weird call. It's like, why are you in the bathroom? Do you want to become rich? I have a proposition for you. Meet me at the newsstand in 10 minutes.
Okay.
And,
is this okay?
And I was like, what?
Is this Saw?
Yeah, like, are you asking to get kidnapped? Like, I don't care.
Play. Yeah, why would you go?
Why would you go from a random call that
Yeah.
followed you in? And so, she of course justifies it by having a little song about, she's like, I'm tired of licking boots and I have to do
I'm tired of licking boots. I'm tired of doing what people tell me to do.
I'm tired of
I'm
being
gonna
alive.
do what this phone call tells me to do.
Yeah, I'm tired of being alive. I want to be unalive. Is what it sounds
she
like.
wants to die.
No, she doesn't
Okay,
actually say that,
okay.
but that's what it feels like.
All right.
So honestly, I like this number a lot, but she's like, I have nothing to lose but everything to gain, because she's just like, I hate my job, I hate my butt.
I hate my butt.
She does say that. She says her big butt.
Okay.
So yeah, she's all in. She goes to the newsstand, and the news is all about death. There's just pictures of dead bodies, and she's like, "Fucking Mexico, bro! It's just so fucking grimy, dude."
Yeah.
And she immediately, someone goes, "Senora," and then they just fucking capture her. They take her bag.
Wow.
I'm just like, well, I don't know what you expected.
I
Like,
know. Yeah. Probably should have just stayed in the
it's
bathroom.
that Arrested Development meme of looking into the bag, being like, "Yep,
Yeah.
that's
Dead dove.
Dead dove.
Yeah.
Yep." So she gets to another place where she has to like climb a ladder with a bag on. It's like the back of a car, and she gets there and takes the bag off. And she's in a truck with someone, and that person is Meditas Del Monte, and he says, "Do you know my situation?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I know about you." She's scared.
Yeah.
Says your business is doing well. You just got new political allies, and the elections proved you right. You took out a rival gang. Like, you're doing great.
Yeah.
How can I help you? And he sings kind of softly, if you say yes, you'll get a lot of money from Switzerland with codes. Only you and I will know. And help me with this. And and she's like, what do I risk? He says, becoming rich. And he slides over a thing. He's like, sign it. It's $2 million.
Wow.
US dollars. She's like, what do I got to lose? And so she signs it. It's like, okay, what do you want? He's like, I want to become a woman. She's like, oh, what? I don't get it. You mean like physically a woman? Change your sex or your life? He's like, what's the difference? Bro, what's the difference? Bro. Change your sex, you change your life, dude.
What's the difference,
bro?
What's
the difference, bro?
Yeah.
And this must have been so crazy for this actor to be like, all right, now I'm gonna
go
be a man again.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna then transition again.
In the movie.
Just like, that's a lot. I think when I Googled this movie, it said like the actor was like, I don't know who I was anymore. And I'm like, oh, that sucks.
That's
but
really
also
sad.
Yeah,
I know
it's a tough role.
Wasn't it something that was like in Orange is the New Black? Because there was that character, oh gosh, I can't remember her name. Was it Laverne Cox or something like that?
I think so.
And like her twin brother like played her before she had transitioned.
Oh.
Because they didn't want to actually like put her through that kind of like stuff. And I mean, luckily they had an opportunity for that.
I mean, it sounds like this actor. Let me get her name because like she did a lot of fucking work for this movie. She gets some credit.
We really need to call her out.
Karla Sofia Gascon doesn't have a very big like
IMDb.
Like it's there, and she got a lot of.
She's
like,
great.
Work. Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, she's honestly she's better than fucking like Selena Gomez.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
So yeah, seeing all that change and all those different. Oh my
Jesus
God, Mike's
Christ.
knocking over everything on his desk.
I'm not even drinking
anymore.
Anymore. Yeah, that's right. All right.
Knocking over Snoopy over there.
Yeah,
Who put Snoopy in the vestibule?
It's his day.
It's his day. Oh, remember that last?
Reeling it in.
That was last year, everyone. Check
That was
out
a
our
whole year
podcast on
ago.
Last year. Anyway, where the hell were we? A lot of work.
We were calling out Emilia Perez's actor.
Yeah, a lot of
she deserves
work.
it.
Yeah,
Give her her flowers.
Probably hell doing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, it's like, get me someone in the U.S. who will make sure no one knows who I am. Find someone. And then after, of course, signing this, he says, "Your predecessor wasted a lot of time, but you have like infinite resources or whatever.
She's
she's
rich.
Yeah, she's rich now, so you can figure it out." So she's on the phone trying to call like a place in Bangkok, like a plastic surgery place, I think, with those gender affirming surgeries. And then she's like, this is the weirdest part to me, because she's like calling on the phone to try to get a flight to Bangkok, and they're like, it's a 26-hour flight. She's like, oh, that's long. I don't know if I can get back in time. I got like a case going on. And she's like, what about business class? And I'm like, she's like, business. The other person on the end's like, business class? I mean, that's more expensive. It's like, yeah, business class. Like, I mean, you're gonna have the same issue. What about first class? Because she realized she has money now. She's like, first class. Like, first class is gonna go way over budget.
First class.
And I'm like, first class doesn't make you get there faster, though. You just get there faster, and you'll be more rested, I guess. Probably.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't. Yeah, you're in the same
time.
It's just a different
period.
class.
Yeah.
I don't think they know the difference.
I don't know. I guess not. No, clearly this person did not research Mexico or first class.
Or trans people.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so by the way, I don't know. This person probably did not research much about like the transitioning process. Either.
No, clearly not.
It's like they're like, oh yeah, I'm on hormone replacement therapy for 2 years, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then it just seems like they're like, this will be done really quick. It'll be a quick,
this will be over.
easy, quick thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a scene where she's like, they're like, okay, what card do you have? And she drops it into Visa Infinite. I wonder if Visa put money into this.
I wonder. Yeah, did the Visa name come up during the beginning credits?
No, I didn't see it. It had to when it really mattered, though.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get to this insane musical number, which I think you were referencing earlier.
It's the one that went viral.
The one that went viral that I missed, and I just doctor scene. It's just, I don't know why this is here. Bangkok. He's like, explain to me what you want, and it's like, I want to look into transitioning. Not for me though. It's like, okay, what are the risks and issues? And he's like, well, here's all the different surgeries you got to have. They all have plastics at the end. I don't know. This is weird. What are all the different types they always call a surgery, like endoscopy, things like that. They always say that at the end, scopy. I put plastics. I know I wrote plastics. It's not plastics.
You probably are corrected.
Yeah, you're right. Or like copies. Anyway, this song is crazy. That whole like circular kind of like laboratory operation with everyone's like in operation, like getting their random things nipped and tucked, and they're just like singing and dancing. And
to woman, a woman to men. Man to woman.
From penis to vagina. Is it for you?
And all sorts of just crazy shit like that. And I'm just like, what is going on? First, like the movie so far, it felt pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like despite the musical scenes, it felt like the musical scenes were like
Even took things seriously.
they were taking it seriously. It was like, here's how much I'm feeling. I'm feeling like really heartfelt about all of these things where I'm being respected at work.
Yeah.
I'm always not in the spotlight. I'm never getting any credit and all these like really real human things. And someone
Tragedies.
longs to transition and all this stuff. And then suddenly it's just like, we're singing about surgeries and penises and vaginas. It's like, what is going on? Even someone's like, she's like, ooh, how much for a butt lift? And someone's like, only $4,500 for it for you.
Mm.
And then we cut to her back home and she has a new butt. So I guess she just got a new butt there.
Got
and
a
then
butt.
She gets fucking jacked by some guys and they put a plastic bag over her head and she gets a phone call that says like, hey, you think I'd pay for you to fly first class and do all this?
Oh, because they don't recognize.
Yeah. They're like, why are you doing all this? You better get moving. I'm running out of time. I don't know what the time is because he never mentioned like, it sounds like business is going good. I guess it's just
Somehow
he's gonna have
things
to
are
he's
going
just-
well. Yeah. Just
things
left
are
it
well.
alone.
Yeah, maybe he's just at a breaking point mentally. I
I'm
don't know.
sure, yeah.
Anyway, so she goes to Israel and Tel Aviv
Why?
to go to so I guess that plastic surgery place wasn't enough.
Or maybe they just wasn't. No, the butt was done. So yeah, something was done over there.
Maybe she wasn't
Yeah.
happy with her butt. She was like,
Yeah,
this
they're
is
like,
not the quality he wants.
Gonna get another butt.
Gonna go try to
yeah.
get another butt. But it starts talking to the doctor there, and the doctor is like, what do you want? He's like, well, you want like a gender affirming surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, immediately starts singing this transphobic song. It's like, it won't fix the soul, you know that, right?
Oh my god.
But then, don't worry, our lawyer,
Rita shows up.
Rita responds and says, listen, changing your body changes your world, and it changed society and all this stuff about like the society sees you. And if we want society to improve, we have to do this sort of thing. And you better change your mind and
Fix your hearts or
fix
die.
your heart, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, can I meet them? And she's like, if you don't accept them for who they are, you can't meet them.
What a weird thing. Like, I'm going to give you gender affirming surgery, but first I want to say I don't see you as a human being.
Yeah. Or like, I think you have something wrong with you.
And I'm just like,
Why would you
I'm
offer
that's-
those services then?
Exactly.
That's like being a drug dealer and being like, hey man,
drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe in any of this.
And you're a lesser person for wanting the thing that I am selling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is going on?
And as the person buying it, I'd be like, okay, I'll find someone else to sell it. I'll
yeah,
buy it
exactly.
from
I'm gonna
them.
go to a different person.
Yeah.
But
Fucking
no.
weirdo.
Anyway, but apparently, changes.
Imagine going all the way to Tel Aviv and they're just like, fuck you. Like, you're not a human being.
Well, you had a fucking song and dance in this other
Yeah,
place. And then you're like,
exactly.
that's not good enough. I need
No.
someone who fights back. And I'm like, okay. So
All right.
he gets fucking, next scene is with him and a bag on, and they're both in the back seat with the loud music, and he's like, can you turn the music down? He's like, I don't think that's a good idea to ask that. And so he like talks to I forgot their Manitas, I guess, and starts
Okay.
talking to him and is like, hey, like, what's
Oh,
going
isn't it
on?
funny that that her dead name has the word man in it? Isn't that funny?
I didn't even think about that. Oh my god. Anyway, the doctor. Oh, we already skipped that part. Okay, no, he's talking to him and is just like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, why do you want to do this? He's like, I've always wanted to do this, but like my line of work, this is like a very macho place. You know,
Right.
I can't just be a woman doing all this, but like I'm in, a good place now. And I mean, many times in my life, like since I was a kid, like I always wanted this, I thought about killing myself many times, but it's like not fair. And I'm getting older now. It's not fair to myself not to live my real life. And, but at this point, Rita's outside.
This is the part that all the people watching the movie, like giving it awards, this is the part they remember, right? It's just
Probably.
like, oh man, this is a really human moment.
Yeah.
You know?
And Rita's out there, and then Selena Gomez appears,
Ah,
introduces
yes.
herself. She's like, I'm Jessie. What are you doing here? She's like, oh, I'm just here to, I'm your husband's lawyer, I guess. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm his wife." I don't think I mentioned that properly, but whatever. You know what I mean? It's his wife, basically.
Yes. She is. Selena Gomez is married to Emilia. Yeah. Perez.
So we're leaving the country. She asked. She's like, "Oh, I don't know about that." And then Minnie just comes back and is like, who's this? It's like, "Oh, don't worry. You don't need to worry about Rita. She's just business. She's just here for business. You don't gotta worry about it." And you find out like he's got kids. He's got a whole family. He's got a whole thing going on.
Whole life, a wife, and children. Yeah.
But then it's like, okay.
Oh yeah, and like Selena Gomez is completely oblivious to this whole transitioning.
Doesn't let in anything. And then so it goes a whole thing about like I wanted my whole life. I was a child. What comes very difficult. I already held this. This I guess I just did it out of order. But what they're gonna do now is they're like, okay, the wife doesn't know the plans, but the surgeon agrees to it. He's like down. He's like, I want to do this. I guess his story was good enough. And I'm like, well, did you not listen to anyone else you've ever done this?
Nope.
Procedure on?
No.
Okay.
No. This is the perfect trans person.
This is it, finally.
Yeah.
The one who puts me in a bag and then sends me over here. He's just probably just like, oh, they'll pay a lot of money. So
Yeah.
So I guess all the kids get packed up. They move to Switzerland. They get new passports. All the kids do. And Rita tells the boss, like, hey, don't worry. They'll all be safe. They'll live over there. Your whole family will live there, and they'll eventually forget who you are. I was like, damn. That's crazy.
That's not nice.
That's not nice. That's crazy. Why you got to go through all that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so and he has a whole song about like I don't lack money. I don't lack killing. I don't lack lust, but I lack desire. I don't want desire to be desired.
I can't follow
everything that was no longer. I don't know. It was wild. It was a wild scene. But basically, it was I just want to be her. Like that's the whole thing. It's very funny how all these are like very basic, like musical. Like I'm just gonna say what I want now because you couldn't understand it. We're gonna sing that song real quick for about 2 minutes.
Heart of your world.
Yeah, it's basically that. So now we cut to Switzerland. They take the kids away. And they're like, why are we being sent here? And Rita's like, Jesse, it's to protect you. It's like, why can't I go to my sister in the States? That's why her accent's bad.
Oh, yes, because she's speaking Spanglish.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't explain the bad acting, but it definitely explains the accent and the.
Anyway, so gets a call to. I did like this because you see Rita, and she's sitting in the back of the car, finally done all this stuff, basically separated, broke up a family, and gets a call and says, thank you. You're done now.
Okay.
And then they hangs up and she just starts crying. She starts crying. She actually starts feeling bad for all this. But now she's kind of happy.
Sorry, who's crying?
Rita.
Amelia? Oh, Rita. Okay.
Rita. Amelia's just on the phone somewhere.
Sure.
Out of the picture.
So Rita feels bad about all this.
Yeah, and then Rita burns all the notes that were written by the doctor, and there you go.
Yeah.
And then Jesse.
Now no one will ever know.
Well, then Jesse on the news sees a report that her husband died.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we thought he fled the country, but nope, he died. He got killed. And she starts crying, and it's sad. And then we cut to Emilia waking up, completely masked up all over. And I was just like, you do all those surgeries at once? Wouldn't your body be like, fucking, like, I don't know. Don't you need a little bit of recovery period? I don't know anything. I didn't do any research, but I don't know if they did any research.
I don't think they did either.
Yeah. Anyway, we do things differently in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Checking out, everyone seems like she seems a lot happier. She says stuff like, keeps saying her name over and over again while putting on a bra. And then we cut to 4 years later.
Wow,
London.
4 whole years.
4 whole years. Let's get 4 years later. It's in London. And then it's this fancy place. Rita's there having a nice time with some dinner with some colleagues, it seems. Living it up at a very fancy place, not like Mexico where you just get fucking murdered anywhere you go. And we see Emilia over there in the corner. And they start speaking Spanish to each other because they're speaking English mostly, but now they're swapping to Spanish and they start talking. And, Rita doesn't recognize her at all. And she's like, oh, you're from Mexico? Like, yeah, I'm from Veracruz. She's like, do you miss Mexico at all? And Rita says, no, I don't miss Mexico. I've been traveling for ages. It's all right. I'm here with Simon. And then, or it's asked like, what are you doing here, ma'am? And she says, oh, I'm with Simon. I'm seeing his business. And then it's like, wait, you know Simon too? I know Simon from... Oh.
Garfunkel.
She realizes, oh, oh, and then I like this moment because the lights get dark and like it's this big fancy dinner scene, and now it sets the mood back to like the previous scenes, which I like because it echoes back to like her past life, both of their past lives, right, and this kind of, you know, Mexico crime is, but they dim the lights, they make it look really cool, and they have kind of like a singing talk to each other, and she's just like, oh, you come to finish the job, huh? That's why you're here,
right?
And like it sounds like Emilia's just here to be like, I came to it. I wanted to see the shock on your face. I wanted to see the surprise. It was like a completely different person. I want to reach out to you again. Yeah. Actually, and then she says, "Actually, I do have something. I need you to bring back my children back to Mexico." Oh. And I'm like, "Oh, come on now.
Yeah,
come on now. You left that life. Just as soon as the fucking." She woke up. I was like, okay, movie's over, right? Like, that's it.
Where else can this possibly go?
Where else could this possibly go? And she's like, I can't live without my children. I'm like, well, okay, but you've destined them to live without you, so this is going to be weird.
That's the problem, right? Because it's like, I've read stories about like parents who transition having to explain to their kids the whole situation, their partners and stuff. And it's like, that is definitely like a thing that people go through. That's a story you can tell. But this character is like, I'm dead. Like, you know, like
you faked your death.
You faked your own death, and you sent off, your wife and kids to somewhere else
to live a new life.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, I don't know if there's some shitty metaphor here where it's like, you can't put the genie back in the bottle once you transition, sort of thing. You know, you can't change back. And I don't know if it's that sort of like, well, I want to have everything though. Yeah. I don't know what the mixed metaphor here is, but
I don't think there is one. I think that's the problem.
I think it's just messy. It's just a very messy film, and they're just like, well, we gotta have a whole film. Like,
well, yeah. What is the story going to be?
You
about
saw
now?
The premise, right? We finished the premise. The premise is over. What do we do now? Yeah. Okay, well, she's got to do something crazy, like want her kids back that she abandoned and gave fake IDs and moved to Switzerland.
Give a bunch of money to.
Yeah. And wired money anonymously, and it's just like, what the fuck? Going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now she agrees and does it and goes back and picks up Jesse and is like, she's like, why do we know this Emilia Pérez? Like, oh, it's a distant cousin who wants to live with, wants to move in of your late husband. And it's like, well, why didn't she reach out before? It's like, well, I didn't think it was time. It was too soon. You're grieving and everything. And it's like, I didn't know about this person. And it's like, no one did. No one knew about this person.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
The long lost cousin.
And like, Jesse's just going along with it. I'm like, I mean, I guess you're tied to it, but I don't know.
I don't think you are at this point.
Yeah, because like you have your own money. You have independent money. It sounds like it's been wired to you.
You don't need this.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I've got my kids. I got my house. I got my life. Like, why am I beholden to my shitty ex-husband's cousin?
There is another reason to go back, apparently.
What is
Jesse says? Well, we'll find out in a bit.
Oh, I can't wait.
They welcome to the new house, and I was like, oh no, are they trying to do like a Mrs. Doubtfire thing here?
Oh God. Oh, where it's like, God, you're so right. It is like Mrs. Doubtfire. She's like,
hey everyone, hey kids, and holds on to him, and I'm just like, oh no. They took that was the worry about Mrs. Doubtfire. It kind of feels a little transphobic a little bit.
They casted like, at the time they casted like a bunch of gay actors and stuff too. Like, it feels a little bit transphobic, but like, it's not, I don't know. This is fully transphobic. This is
just like, ugh, this feels really weird. This is like legitimately like quote unquote trap situation.
It's because that's like exactly, because that's like drag.
Really.
Yeah. This is
something different.
This is a person transitioning, and it's not being handled with the care I feel like it deserves.
I don't think so either. Anyway, so it says we never met Jesse. First time to meet you, and like she holds on to her kids for a very long time. It's like, well, peace be with my late husband, or your late husband, I guess. Nice to meet you. Finally,
peace be with me. Yeah. I mean, my cousin.
I mean, Oh, anyway, careful up the stairs. There's no railing, kids. Let's see your rooms. I'm like, man, that's the craziest thing, though. A stair with no railings. It's like a big circle thing. I'm like, oh, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Rita's like, okay, I'm done. Can I go? And Amelia's like, no, I still have stuff for you to do. And I'm like, oh man, this money always comes with a price, doesn't it?
Money comes with a price.
Rita says, like, how was Jessie? It's like, oh, I don't know. Or Rita says, when I found Jessie, she was all out of sorts when I found her. And also, be careful around your kids. You're hugging them way too long, giving them kisses. Remember, you're their aunt, not their mom.
Yeah.
And at breakfast. She makes food for them, and the kids at dinner are like, we just want to go back to Switzerland and go skiing. We can't do this here in Mexico.
Right.
You know, like, and
They've
it's like,
become
aw.
accustomed to the place that they've been growing up for 4 years.
For 4 years. For a kid, that's like
A
half
long
your life.
time. Yeah,
at least,
exactly.
you know?
These kids are young. They're like 8.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
probably most of their life was there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They only know Switzerland.
There's a reason they abandoned their family, right? Because it was like an
was
easy
young
break
enough.
for their kids. You
Yeah.
know? So her kids can just go off and like
Live the life.
yeah, live life and not miss dad.
Don't worry. I think none of this is going to be like, complicated and heartbreaking.
Sure,
Yeah.
I guess not. Anyway, so now I get a whole song from Selena Gomez about, look at these golden handcuffs I'm stuck in now. I obeyed my dead husband in Switzerland. This is all I get. I get stuck here. Welcome to your new life. She dances with a bunch of people in her mind palace, I guess.
Yeah, she
And
does that a
then
lot.
She says, actually, she calls someone. She calls Gustavo. Says,
Gustavo.
I'm leaving a message for you. I'm missing you.
Cowboy hat man.
You're the reason. I never see him.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I miss you so much. You're the reason I came back to Mexico, the real reason. My pussy still hurts from lusting for you.
Jesus
The quote she
Christ.
said, and I'm just like, okay. 4 years, that must have been some real dicking down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you never see this guy. He's got a big old mustache and a cowboy hat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's got some other big old things.
Right, him cowboy.
Amelia asked Rita to stay even longer, and they're at lunch or something. Says like, I'll pay for it. Like, I'll pay for you to be here. And she's like, no, it's cool. I don't want to do anything. I would rather just kind of go back to work. Getting confused. Amelia says, oh wait, so I'm offering you like work, and
You're not
going to take it? Like, you're not going to do any of this, you know? And you don't even have to do anything. You just have to hang out. And Rita's like, no, I enjoy working. Like, I like it. And
Okay.
Amelia just can't understand this. And I'm like, I understand. I wouldn't want to work either. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
I don't have to.
I don't have to. She's like, well, you want like a husband and everything, right? I'll buy a husband for you. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
And then someone's walking around giving like posters for this guy named Octavio, and by like a grieving mom, and Rita then like looks at this poster and looks at Amelia and says, you ever think about all the horrors that Manitas did? Amelia's like,
Horrors?
Horrors.
Okay.
Like problems, like
Got
bad, horrible things you've done.
Okay. Thank you.
I know I slur that sometimes.
You know those horrors he was doing?
Look at this dead guy. You ever think about all the horrors your past self did? Amelia's like, yes, I have regrets. Grabs the poster.
Yeah. Yeah, I have regrets. I was part of the cartel.
I was ruthless and killed so many people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
What the fuck is
Rita
this
gets in the
movie
fancy
about?
car with Amelia, and they drive back. And Amelia gets home and finds one of the kids who can't sleep. It's like, oh, what are you still doing up? And that kid has a sick gaming PC. I'm like, this kid's living large. He's got the LEDs and everything. But no,
Why aren't you getting any sleep? I got you a gaming PC. I miss my home. All of my friends in Switzerland.
but then like she starts cuddling him, and the kid's like, you smell like dad.
I heard about this. Yeah.
And I love it. And then the kid has a whole song about how you smell like coffee and leather and Coca-Cola Light with lemon. Very specific.
Yeah.
It's weird because it was a very initially heartfelt moment, and then it turns into
this.
like goofy weird shit.
I
and
feel
I'm
like
just
that's most of these things.
yeah. Instead, it's just like, now we got to put a song in here, and I'm like,
And the
well,
song's gonna be silly.
and the song's gonna not be written that well.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come off corny.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Anyway, so then she goes around and sends, I guess she's still in the cartel, or like knows cartel people or something.
Yes, she's still connected to the cartel.
Still connected to the cartel, and sends people to see if they can find Octavio, and they do find some information. Some guy gets some money. He's like, yeah, I don't know, it was crazy. We buried him or whatever over here. And so they find the body, and they find the mom comes up after burying her son to Amelia and says like, thank you, and then like cries and like kisses her hand, and then like Amelia turns to Rita immediately and says,
we have to do something.
when I touched her hand, I felt her tears for the first time in her life. I love myself now. And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, I guess you do have regrets then, for sure.
Well,
it's like,
who wouldn't?
we gotta find. Yeah, I know. Amelia's like, we have to find everyone now.
Oh my
And I'm like,
god.
okay. And Rita's like, how are we gonna do this? It's like, you're a lawyer. I can persuade some old associates of mine, and you can talk to them. So basically, Rita has to go around now and listen to these people be like, yeah, we fucking chopped them up and put them all over the road.
We burnt them
We
up.
burnt them up, every single one, burning, chopping,
Yeah.
burning, chopping, just like horrific shit that the cartels do, I guess.
That Emilia was directly causing.
Pretty much, yeah, or at
This
least
is the kind of
adjacent,
shit
at least adjacent to.
No, adjacent. She was a kingpin. She ran an empire.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
She
But I'm not
was
saying
ma-
I'm not saying I'm being pedantic, but these are probably not particularly the actual crimes. It sounds like they're just someone they know, but some of them probably are actually her fault.
They're working with the cartel, and she ran the cartel. Like she
There's
was,
multiple cartels.
I know, but she was running one of the
That's
big ones.
true,
Oh,
yeah.
hers wasn't wasn't killing anybody.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, that seems to be the two tactics at the end of my half.
Yes, first thing I hear is this guy going like, "We burnt them up," and
Yep.
then we see all the burnt up like clothing. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, this is really overwhelming. So, Rita and Emilia start a whole program called Lucecita, which is going to be helping people.
Mhm.
I didn't know what this was because I didn't know what this movie was about.
Mhm.
I only knew it was a musical. I didn't know.
Wow, so you knew the opposite of me.
I knew that it was about a trans person, and the trans person was a major character, and I knew that it was and then I knew it was a musical. But that's all I knew. I didn't know anything
wow,
else.
You didn't know how bad.
So I start out, and I thought the movie was about genuinely the cousin of the cartel boss who transitioned and was like, because I think that Emilia is the cousin of.
Oh, you bought the story.
Of course I bought the story.
Right.
Why would anyone lie to me? So I was like, so yeah, Amelia is the cousin. Maybe they grew up, as brother or as cousins or whatever. She was like a boy at the time. She transitioned. She saw the awful things her cousin was doing. Her cousin died, and she's like, I know all this information about my cousin. I'm gonna make life better for everybody. I'm gonna make, and I was like, so I was watching the movie going like, it's a little bit cheesy, but in the music's a little bit sloppy, but overall this is a pretty good movie. I was a fan. I was fine. I was like, this is great. And then I'm like, oh no, Emilia is the slumlord.
Yeah.
Emilia is the villain and transitioned and now is absolved of all of the awful things that happened in the previous life.
Not really. She's making work to try to.
She's doing a great
She's
job.
doing her best job finding dead bodies.
And two, she is lying to everyone about her identity, which is awful.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That part was like, fuck this shit.
That's a horrible reveal for you.
I was looking up reviews like, why do people hate this movie so much? I truly didn't understand it. And then when that twist comes in, I'm like, oh fuck this.
Yeah, once I started realizing oh, so we're just gonna abolish everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to make amends. I'm like, this is fucking weird and lame. What are we doing?
It was
here?
fucking lame. Yeah, it was. What is it? I read a review that was sort of just this is if America, or this is if someone wrote a movie about how the head of Al Qaeda transitioned and then became a good person and had a redemption arc.
And then they played how it would play in America.
Yeah, how would that play in America? It's just I don't know. It's kind of bad to not even but again, this is from the perspective of someone who has no understanding of the actual horror.
They probably just watched Breaking Bad and were like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's pretty scary. I guess it'd be kind of crazy if Gus Fring transitioned or something, and it's
What if Gus Fring that would be pretty awesome.
We're gonna change the name.
Los Pollos Hermanos. Yes. Anyway, so she starts this project, this program, and there's this honestly kind of great song called Aquí Estoy, which is about all the people who are they're part of this program, and they're we are here to help the world. There's this guy who's covered in tattoos, and he's just I did some bad stuff too, and I'm here to make everything better because the world was bad. And then there's all these families there, and I'm like, whoa, this is really is a musical. But it was not a very long song. And they're just we are going to find good and peace in the world and try to make the world a better place, even with all this cartel violence. Then we're introduced to Selena Gomez. She arrives home being driven home by a guy wearing a cowboy hat. I learned that she lives with Emilia, and they sit down, and this part was, again, with with like four like
knowledge that this is
knowledge of what's going on.
Her former wife.
Her former partner. So she arrives home, sees Emilia, and Emilia starts asking like, so, you know, what about how do you feel about like your dead husband? And Selena Gomez is just like, I'm glad he's dead. He probably like cheated on me a bunch, and like, you know, like we loved each other for a bit, and then we had the kids, and then he totally changed, and then yeah, I'm kind of glad he's dead. And like we cut back to Emilia, and Emilia has like a perturbed face, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, if someone said that they were glad my cousin died, I probably wouldn't be too happy about that. But now I'm like, oh no, Emilia was going like, how do you feel about how I was when we were married? And Selena was like, fuck them.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
And then Selena Gomez admits to cheating on her ex-husband, her dead husband.
That's not cheating if they're dead.
No, beforehand.
Oh, okay, got it.
With I think Gustavo, but she was like, because she was like, I think I truly loved him. Our love affair was so passionate, but we wound up breaking it off. And Emilia's like, well, why didn't you run away? And he's like, well, you knew your cousin. He would have killed me and, you know, and the guy I was with.
And Emilia looks and says, I was a bad person.
Yeah, exactly.
But not anymore.
Yep.
I've changed my life around completely, and I'm
including my gender. That's pretty much
that's the movie in a nutshell right there.
Give me the Oscar.
Yeah.
So they find a mass grave, and they mention that there's no investigations being done. Amelia is very upset about this. It's like there's been no investigation. The cops aren't looking into it because the cartel owns everything, and there's all this money. And I'm like, bitch, it's your fault.
I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I'm reaping what I'm sowing.
We're all trying to figure out the person who did this, you know? So they go to a benefit where they're trying to raise support and money in order to fund the program that they're running. And because Emilia doesn't have a lot of connections, they have like some people, like some...
She's actually out of the cartel, but she does know some people.
Well, she knows some people, but most of them have like dirty money.
Right.
And Zoe Saldana, Rita, fucking hates these people. She's just like, we are not going to take dirty money to fund this thing that's trying to make things good.
Yeah, that seems like a bad cycle.
And Emilia is going...
It's so funny. It's like the lawyer who also is good at getting evil people off.
Well, now she doesn't want to do it anymore.
Well, I know, but that's like her whole thing at the beginning. Yeah. And now she doesn't want to do it anymore. She's like, look, if you're trying to be good, like this is how to be good. It's like, I got to teach you how to be good.
Yes. But
this is how you be a good person.
Emilia completely ignores it. She goes like, she's like, that's idealist. We need it. Everyone else takes their money. What's the problem? What's the problem with us doing it? So there's this whole speech that she does. Emilia does this whole speech just going like, we really, we appreciate your support, Mr. Mayor. And then this scene, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Zoe Saldana is serving cunt in this scene. She is fucking killing it. She's just like, I'm shocked that this is not the part that went viral online, because she's like running around. She's just like, fuck you, mayor. You fucking take money. Fuck you, mayor. Fuck you, everybody. And then I can't remember what the name of what the song is, but it's basically going like, the song is basically about how all these people do is talk, and then they pay for all their problems to go away. It's just like, you talk. Damn. It's good. And
it's good.
She's just bouncing around.
It's also very basic corrupt politics shit.
Super fucking basic. But it's just like the energy, and it's like so well shot.
You know what's really funny to me is we just watched Wicked not too long ago, but like how that's a very much like baby's first like fascism thing. Like hearing this is like very similar themes that don't work at all.
Yes, no, very much. Although better shot musically.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, some better like shot scenes. This scene was awesome. She's just like jumping around, bouncing on tables, just going like, "Fuck you, you take a lot of money. Fuck you, everything sucks." It's great. It felt like a fucking like System of a Down song or something. You know what I mean? It was great. So now we're introduced to the Ms. Flores or Mrs. Flores. She walks in to Lucecita with a knife in her purse, and she's like, "I want to talk to Emilia." And so she goes to talk to Emilia. I'm like, "Oh shit, this person's gonna fucking kill Emilia Perez." And I'm like, Emilia Perez has done nothing to anyone. Why would you want to kill Emilia?
No blood on her hands.
Yeah. So she walks in and she's like, "Hello, Emilia. You sent me something in the mail about my husband?" And Emilia's like, "Yeah, we just found your husband." And she's just like, "And where is he?" And she goes, "In the morgue." And she's just like, "My husband's in the morgue?" And Emilia's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh. She starts like crying, but then you can tell she's sort of crying from like relief. And then immediately goes like, oh, I'm sorry. I probably was a little bit too curt about that. Yeah, sorry to mention your husband is dead.
Oh, no.
And then like she like gets up and starts crying near the window, and she's like crying more. And then Emilia goes over and like puts her arm around her, and the music's getting really tense because, as we know, there's a knife in the purse.
Chekhov's knife.
Chekhov's knife. But then Miss Flores just goes like, well, actually, I hated my husband. I'm glad he's fucking dead because he fucking beat me and raped me and like all this shit. And she's like, I was so afraid that I came with this knife to protect myself.
Everyone here is bad, bro. Everyone you know is a bad hombre, you know?
Yep. They're not sending their best. Yeah, it's fucking weird. And so then Emilia's like, you brought a knife? I brought a gun. And she reveals that she's had a gun this whole time. I'm not even joking.
Oh my God.
And then,
so fucking funny.
And then she's like, hey, do you want to like hang out later?
This is like a fucking cartoon.
You want to hang out later? And and Flores is like, why? And then Emilia's like, just because I want to hang out. Next scene, they're banging.
Wow. Okay.
And then and now they're together and they're in love and they're very passionate about it and they want to meet up again. And then Emilia has this whole song. She's like, half man, half woman. Oh, who am I? I have no idea. Am I a savior? Am I a sinner? Am I a drug kingpin? Am I?
Is this the moment when you realize that?
This is when I'm like, this is where I'm starting to put the pieces together. I'm like, wait a fucking second. What does this mean? Where did I write it down? Yeah, I like wrote down the moment where I'm like, I think I've realized what this movie is doing now, and I don't like what this is right here. All right, okay, so this is what I was worried about. Emilia is Selena's dead husband, who was a cartel kingpin. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yep.
Yeah. So
incredible reveal.
Truly insane. So Rita thinks that she's wasted her life. She's just like, I don't have any money. I don't have a job. All I do is this, and I don't have a family. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids, and I'm like 40 years old.
And that's what I need to feel
to be
like
happy
a woman.
And fulfilled. Exactly.
I need a family.
And then Emilia says like, none of this would have happened without you. And Rita's like, oh yeah, you're right.
That's it.
Then she just goes to her desk. Then later that night she goes to the club and she's going to the club.
We're your family now.
Yeah,
that's
we're
what it feels like.
Here.
We're family now. I pay you to be my family, but we're family.
Remember that time I kidnapped you and forced you to help me transition?
Yep.
We're family. So then Rita goes to the club and she just watches this white guy just talk to her like passion, like
my favorite type of
passion.
Clubs.
It's
my favorite type of club.
It's so obvious she just wants so bad to find someone that like means something to her, but she can't. And then while at the club, she sees.
Are they speaking English?
The white guy speaking English, yes. And then she sees Selena Gomez and Gustavo in a karaoke booth, and they're singing about how much they love each other. And this fucking scene sucked so hard because it's like they are singing the karaoke, so there's karaoke words at the bottom being lit up going to the words that they're singing, and it's like they are being shot as if we're singing them on like a monitor. And so they're like at a low frame rate. It looked because
that sounds cool to me.
It looked awful. It looked really bad. I didn't like it at all. It was bad. So this scene, and it also, the other problem is just keeps going. And it was like, because they're karaoke singing, you hear the singing in the background, but then you also see like Selena Gomez like laughing because they're so in love and they're just like falling over each other. I didn't like this shit at all. What happens next? Selena arrives home. Emilia's entertaining the kids, playing video games with them, and then the kids leave. And Emilia tells Selena, like, you really shouldn't be like dressing like that and acting that around your kids. You need to make sure, that you show them respect.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And Selena's like, yeah, I know, I understand. And then she's like, by the way, I have something to tell you, Emilia. I'm gonna be marrying Gustavo. And Emilia's like, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And then she's like, yeah, and I think I'm going to move out. We're going to find a place together, and I'm going to take the kids with me. And Emilia gets so fucking pissed.
Oh, no.
And then she says, oh, you and that pimp are going to take my children away? There's no fucking way that you're getting out of here. And Emilia's like, I'm keeping the kids. You're not taking them kids.
Is this when Emilia reveals that, like...
Not yet.
Wait, but she says my kids.
Yeah. And Selena's like, they're not your kids, they're my kids. So then Gustavo is beaten the fuck up by some of Emilia's like connections with the cartel and is given money to get out of Mexico.
Damn.
So again, it's not like Emilia's, like she still has connections in the drug kingpin world and is able to like snap of the fingers, get someone attacked. And then in the middle of the night, Selena grabs her kids and leaves because she obviously doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
And so then there's a scene where Rita is talking on the phone with both Selena and Emilia, and Emilia is like, "How dare she take my children away from me?" And Rita's like, "Calm down," and then Selena's like, she took my, apparently like the money was taken, like all of Selena's accounts are closed, so she doesn't have any money anymore because Emilia had that ability, so Selena doesn't have money anymore. So Selena's like, she took my money away somehow. I don't know how she even has control over or anything. She's not putting any of the pieces together.
No. I mean, if you have no inkling of it,
no, that's true.
Like, what?
And then Rita's like, calm down. Like it's this whole scene where she's trying to calm everyone down, trying to like find a middle ground between these two people, trying not to make sure neither of them does anything drastic, but they both lost their fucking minds because they love each other so much or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Sure, I guess.
So that happens. Then it's late at night. Ms. Flores comes by again. She's waiting for Emilia. And Rita's like, well, Emilia's, burning midnight oil. So, I'll try to get a hold of her. And so there's a scene between Rita and Flores. And they sort of are talking to each other about stuff. And, Rita's like, I've heard so many good things about you, like Emilia's different now that she's met you. And Miss Flores is like, and you apparently you really helped Emilia in her life, and like moving all of her stuff and changing and all that sort of stuff. And Rita's like, well, wait, what did she tell you? Because she wants to make sure that Emilia's not dropping too much information. And Rita's like, oh, she just said that you were super great and all this stuff. And she's like, did I say too much? And Frida's like, no, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Now, what do you think happens next?
Flores dies.
She's
assassinated.
Maybe like Rita puts out like a hit or something because Flores might know a little bit too much.
I don't know. I thought maybe Emilia might. I don't know. Maybe she overheard it or something.
Oh, and Emilia's like,
gotta take her out.
I gotta take her out because she knows too much. I got
maybe
too close. That's fair. Okay.
What happens? I'm scared.
Emilia has been kidnapped.
Oh.
And they found her car. There's nothing in the car. And then the next day, 3 of Emilia's fingers are delivered to Rita, which means that they want $3 million from Rita. Money must be delivered. And then Rita talks to the kidnapper, who's like this big gruff man voice, and then also Emilia on the other end of the phone. And it's revealed later on that the kidnapper is Gustavo, Selena Gomez's boyfriend, lover man.
Okay.
Rita calls in. Rita's like, we gotta save Emilia. So she's like, she calls up someone. I don't know who she calls, but she's like, we need 8 or 9 big guys with guns. So a bunch of guys show up with guns, and there's this scene where they're putting the guns together and loading them to musical like.
Oh, honestly, that sounds kind of awesome. I want to watch that scene.
Of course you would.
I mean, it sounds bad in an awesome way. Like, it sounds terrible.
So they're like, we're gonna go rescue Emilia by force. So we cut to where Emilia is being held, and we learn that this is where I learned that Selena was behind the kidnapping of Emilia because she wants the money that was taken away from her. She's like, somehow you took the money away from me. My accounts are frozen and empty. I need the money back. I need to survive. My kids need to survive. We're gonna, hold you for ransom, basically.
Okay.
She says all this to her. And then there's this big old fucking shootout. There's this big old shootout.
Music? Is it crazy?
There's one crazy thing that happens, which is there's this shootout and there's all this like smoke coming out of the building that Emilia and Selena and Gustavo are in. And then the smoke is like emanating from it because it's like they just got all shot out. And then all of a sudden the smoke sucks back into the building, and then it comes over to Emilia, and then this golden light shines on Emilia, and Emilia suddenly like sits up, and she's like, Selena, I've always loved you ever since we kissed, and I remember back when I cheated on you, I only ever thought of you, and I kissed you before. And Selena's like, what in the fuck are you talking about? Like, who are you? What is going on? And
I also love, I only thought about you while I was cheating on you.
Yes.
I'm like, what the fuck?
This
What
is
a
some
bad, oh, man.
And then Amelia is like, she asks for forgiveness, and then Selena's like, Manny or whatever the fuck is the dead name was. Like immediately, like dead names are figuring out like this is my fucking husband. And then as she pieces it together and figures out and realizes who she is and their history and what has been going on and how passionate she's been and all this stuff and regretting the decision of like putting everyone in this position, Gustavo shows up, grabs Emilia, throws her in the trunk of the car, and Selena gets in the passenger seat and Gustavo takes off with Emilia in the trunk. And Selena's in the passenger seat and she pulls a gun on Gustavo and is like, you need to pull over. We need to stop the car right now. And Gustavo's like, we are not stopping this car. There's a bunch of people with guns chasing us. And so he grabs the gun, wrestles with the gun. The car starts to swerve. It's on the side of a cliff. It veers off the side of the cliff.
No.
Spins, crashes to the bottom of the mountain.
Man, this is like Crash.
It is just like
I've never
Crash.
seen Crash. I imagine that happens at some point.
It's just like Crash. And it sits there for like a good 10 seconds. And then it explodes.
Oh, no.
So there is no fucking way Emilia's alive. There's no way Selena's alive. Those kids, no fucking parents. Wow. All because Emilia wanted to be in their lives again after making the decision to not be in their lives anymore.
Now you have no parents.
Now you've got nothing. You got nothing. And this movie has done a really good job of fridging its gaze.
Like that's such a wild ending. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess crime doesn't pay, I guess, but like,
sure.
What a weird.
It's a crime of passion, though, you know?
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess you gotta be with your
But
kids.
you know what? Here's the silver lining. Rita now has a family.
Oh.
So now she can be the one that looks after Emilia and Selena's kids.
Wow.
And now her life is complete. They even have a little ADR line where she's like, I'm going to take care of you now. And
There is a lot of weird ADR lines in this movie, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird ones. And then the movie ends with a big old procession for Emilia that is headed by Flores and the rest of Lucis, the group of people.
Yeah.
That they saved, and they're all singing about how mysterious Emilia was and how much they loved her and how much she cared for everyone and how they never knew her. And then the movie ends. I just wrote down, don't know about this one, folks. The movie ends with a shot of like, they're carrying around like, this holy figure, during this like procession. They leave it on the top of the mountain. And then maybe I'm looking too far into it, but they're holding it up and it's like blue sky and like a pinkish reddish, like, statue. So it's like half of the frame is blue and half the red, the frame is pinkish red. And then they put up, and then they put up Emilia Pérez. And now it's like, then Emilia is in pink and then Perez is in blue. So it's like they're trying to like mix this idea of like gender normativity.
I thought it was a trans flag, but okay.
Oh, I didn't even think about the trans flag.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a trans flag. Maybe that's a much more positive reading of this.
I was trying to give this movie credit because
and that's the end of the movie.
Okay.
That's Emilia Pérez.
Boy, what a messy film. What a messy fucking film.
It's really kind of amazing to watch like a writer-director just sort of like throwing caution to the wind, going, who fucking cares?
Just going for it.
Really going for it.
Probably shouldn't. Just someone being like, no one in the line was like, yeah, probably.
Should we talk to somebody about this movie?
Yeah. Did you consult the main actor at all?
Yeah, like how did she feel about
all
all
this?
this?
Just like, I need a paycheck.
Yeah, I get. Or like, I mean, honestly, this seems like a pretty good project. It really puts you in the limelight.
That's
People,
true. It's true.
I mean, I don't know what other opportunities she's going to get after this. I hope that they do give her some opportunities because genuinely she was really good.
I think that's probably the best outcome of this movie getting as much attention as it is.
Yeah, is like her like going off to bigger and better projects. Yeah. I think about like the main actor who was in like Roma. Like I feel like she was in that movie and then like we never saw her again.
You're right. That's so sad.
So I don't know if that's going to happen here. I know she was in the second season of Los Spookies, which everyone should watch. I know she was in that, but she kind of disappeared, which is a shame. And I'm worried that's going to happen here as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I liked her. I really like Zoe Saldana.
Yeah,
I thought she was fantastic. But man, this is a real fucking mess.
It's a real messy film. I definitely can't endorse it. And I definitely understand that like people doesn't feel like a good representation of the trans experience.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great representation to Mexico City or anything like that, or just Mexican culture in general.
It really feels like it sucks because it's not. Weirdly, this movie is a film that doesn't feel like it's going to please anybody because
No.
there's going to be people like who genuinely care about like trans people
Yeah.
and going like, this is a bad representation. And then there's probably going to be people going like, I fucking hate trans people.
Yes.
I don't want to see
Yes,
this movie. And
exactly.
then there's weirdos in the middle who are like, this is great.
Yeah.
I love this.
I love this. This is fun.
Yeah, yeah. And like again, like neither of
I
us
love Cartel Mrs. Doubtfire.
like neither of us are trans people. We have like
No.
people in our lives who are trans, and you know, I'm not going to speak for them, but like I've done a lot of reading from people who are trans about this film, and it doesn't feel like it's been well received.
Yeah.
So-
It doesn't seem like it's been well received in Mexico either.
Oh,
Like,
no?
People do not like it.
What a
there at all.
surprise!
Yeah.
yeah. What a
from
surprise!
the quick, I was just like, why do people hate this? I need a quick, because I'm pretty sure I can guess why, but I want to confirm because
Yeah. 'Cause-
I don't want to just be like, I bet Mexican people hate this movie.
Yeah,
I looked it
yeah,
up in the Wikipedia. It's like people in Mexico are just absolutely like, fuck
Not a
this
fan.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
every critic is like, this is so bad, such a horrible representation.
Yeah, and like I was, because that's the thing is like you hear like there's this movie about a trans woman and it's a musical, and everyone's probably like, fuck, like I hate musicals, I hate trans people, I don't want to see this shit. And I'm
But they're like, but I like cartel movies.
I love Narcos.
I love Narcos a lot.
Yeah,
So-
but I'm like, I would love a movie like about like the trans experience. It's like a musical. I love anything that's representing something properly. Like I said, I would.
It's also just like pick someone who's not like completely irredeemable too,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like someone who has regrets.
What
not
if
someone who,
Hitler was really a woman?
That's basically it. Like
Yeah,
it's literally like
exactly.
some of the people who just massively kill people and control and are
for money
unbelievably
and
corrupt.
drugs.
Yeah, and you know, and
Let's give them
like
a
you said,
redemption
it's
arc.
like let's give Al Qaeda a redemption arc.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like what are we doing here? You
Yeah.
know, like people who are just universally hated to a country and just being like, yeah, what if we just like changed a little bit and made it so it's like, well, what if it became a good person? All this because they finally found like they felt like themselves. And they're just acting out because they weren't feeling like themselves. It's like that's cool, man. No one says that about like mass shooters or anything like that. You know, like
This
they just
is-
weren't acting like themselves.
This
you
is
know?
the
It's
thing
like,
I'm always talking about too, where it's either you need someone who is irredeemable to redeem themselves, or you need a representation of a person who's like perfect. And it's like
Yeah.
neither of those are good representation. Show human beings going through life. Like
Yeah.
is that too much to fucking ask? Like not to
Yeah.
have like torture porn, not to like watch people like fucking going through the muck and dying in the end so we can all feel bad about how we treat actual human beings in real life.
Yeah.
Maybe just like show a human being going through it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like that's a perfectly and that's a crazy thing. It's like you see things where it's like, oh, it's like Oscar bait. It's like you looking at a movie that this isn't like a movie about like trans people, but like everyone's like, oh, Moonlight's Oscar bait because it's like, you know, black people and also like gay people. And it's like those are human people going
Yeah.
through human like life like events. Like
these
how
are
do
people
we
who are like, I can relate to this person because they act like a human being.
Yeah. How do we go from like an Oscar bait is like human being going through something, seeing, peering into a life that maybe we haven't seen before or experienced, to like Oscar bait is like this fucking insane musical that is like some of the worst representation I've ever seen for multiple reasons. You know,
Yeah.
it's rough. It's just rough, and it's a shame that I feel like it's getting the attention that I don't think it necessarily
it's
deserves.
just wild because I literally learned about this movie when the won a Golden Globe. Like that's the first time I heard of it. I'm like, what is this?
I've been hearing about this movie for like I want to say a couple of months, and I was dreading. I'm like, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I don't want to see this movie. I feel like I'm not gonna like it. I feel like I'm gonna be in the minority,
No.
and that didn't happen.
No.
It feels good to be to
Almost
be a part
everyone
of everything.
either is just like this movie's mid or we do not like it for
Yeah.
our representation of what we are. And
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe if you're hot take to anyone out there, if you're maybe not part of a community and you're gonna try to write about them, you know, get some consultants on your team. You know,
And like obviously,
Do some
like
work.
this sounds a little bit hypocritical. We are not part of a community.
No.
We are coming against something.
but we are also acknowledging that.
We're acknowledging it, and we've done some research.
And we did a basic research.
Yeah.
Which I bet he probably looked up. I mean, to be fair, I looked up Wikipedia, which feels like as much as this guy did his research on Mexico. But I looked at Wikipedia just to be like, people hate
Yeah.
this, right? Yep. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
I want to make
exactly.
sure. So it does seem a little hypocritical, but also we're hedging our bets and we're showing our hand.
We did more effort than the filmmakers of this film. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
And we're also saying we're not making a masterpiece podcast here that goes up for the Golden Globes of podcasts. We're
but
here.
If we did win,
If we did,
we
we gotta put some musical numbers in this. You know what I'm
should have,
saying?
and yeah. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at email@theotherhalfpodcast. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Blue Sky. We're also on Discord. We're also on Instagram. And if you want to listen to our previous Oscar episodes, you can find them on any podcatching app. And while you're there, leave a 5-star rating and review, and we'll read it or sing it on the show. Good night, everybody.